to make sure that the judge knows that I'm ready to proceed with trial, that I know my rights, the charges, and what I'm facing.
You also need to know that whenever I talk to anybody, if they tell me they want to hurt themselves or someone else, I have to report that.
Okay.
So that that person can be safe and everybody else can be safe. And then you also know that if somebody tells me they're hurting or not taking care of an older person or someone under the age of 18, I have to report that by state law, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you're called to subpoena, you will
I have to tell what we talk about, right?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell me what the date is today, please?
November 25th, 2024.
And where are you today?
I'm in my attorney, the public defender's office.
And what city and state are you in?
Grand Junction, Colorado.
I'm going to show you some objects. I'd like you to name them for me, please. Can you tell me what this is?
iPhone.
Can you tell me what this is, please?
A pen.
And can you tell me what this is?
A ring.
I'm going to say 3 words. I'd like you to repeat them for me after I say all 3 of them. The words are apple, table, penny.
Okay. Apple, table, penny.
I want you to try and remember those because I'm going to ask you about them in a couple minutes. Can you spell the word space for me, please?
SPACE.
Try it backwards for me, please.
ECAPS.
I'm going to say a sentence. I'd like you to repeat it exactly as I say it. The sentence is no ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
If I said to you, don't cry over spilled milk, what would that mean to you?
It would mean, let it go. It happened, and we move forward.
And what about the early bird catches the worm?
Always be a little bit early.
Who's the president?
Biden right now.
And who was before him?
Trump.
And before him?
Barack.
And before him?
Bush.
What's the holiday that happened recently?
Halloween. Or Veterans Day.
It's all right. Either one works. What's your date of birth?
October 12, 1975.
And you're how old?
49.
And how do you describe your gender?
I'm female. Woman.
Okay. And your race or ethnicity?
White. Caucasian.
And those 3 words I asked you to try and remember?
Table, penny. I'm sorry, I did forget the first
That's
one.
okay. One of them is a type of fruit.
Apple, table, ring. Penny, sorry.
That's okay.
Apple, table, penny.
Can you tell me how an orange and a peach are the same?
Around. They're a fruit.
And a boat and a car?
Transportation.
What city are you living in right now?
Grand Junction. Clifton.
Clifton?
Yeah.
How long have you been living there?
I just spent the night there.
Where do you actually live, though?
I'll be staying in Clifton. I just got there last night.
Where were you before?
Grand Junction.
Are you working?
No.
Okay. And are you in school right now?
No, ma'am.
Any alcohol or drug use?
I smoke marijuana for my MS and brain death, whatever it is.
And for what?
I have lesions and brain death, and I lose my eyesight because of the MS. PTSD, trauma.
How often are you smoking?
Maybe 5 times a week now.
And how much are you usually smoking in a week?
Maybe 5 joints.
Any problems because of your marijuana use?
No.
Are you taking any medications right now?
Just the marijuana.
Are you involved in any therapy right now?
Yes, I go through Foundations for Life. I talk to Aaron, and then I have Carrie over at Lifespan.
Okay, so Foundations for Life, is that
The
an
MAC
individual
program.
therapist or what?
Yeah, I go through Aaron. He's a therapist, and it's the MAC program.
Okay. How long have you been involved with that?
Few months since the first set of 90 days
Okay.
of restoration. Both of them.
And then you said, what's the other one?
Lifespan.
And what?
It's psychiatry.
Okay. So the individual therapy is connected with the MAT program?
No, the individual therapies, I just have them on both ends. I don't know how to explain it. I go to both of them just because they run off of each other. I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, I guess what I mean is the MAT program requires you to have individual therapy as part of the program.
Yeah,
No?
they put it in there because of the bridges, and so
Okay.
it was court ordered. But I like Aaron, and he's a therapist, and I like Carrie, so they work together.
And Lifespan, is it individual therapy or a psychiatrist that you're seeing?
Psychiatrist.
Okay, so there's not an individual therapist
I
at
see.
Lifespan, it's a psychiatrist.
She's both. I don't know how to. I don't know.
Well, typically a psychiatrist is not an individual therapist. So are you getting medications through Lifespan and they see you for that?
No, they don't see me for medications. They see me because of the trauma, the PTSD, and it was court ordered. I don't take medications.
Did they recommend medications and you declined?
No.
Okay, so you see the person at Lifespan how often?
I haven't seen her like on a regular basis. I would go to Aaron or.
So when did you see this person at Lifespan?
A few weeks ago.
And when have you seen them before that?
A month or so before that.
And how long have you been seeing them?
Since it was court ordered.
I don't know when that was.
It's been about 6 months since they started the restoration of light rights.
And how many times have you seen the person at Lifespan in those 6 months?
2, 3, 2.
And they've never recommended medications?
For my thyroid, they asked me if I needed something for sleep.
And you've declined anything?
Yes, ma'am. I don't take any medications anymore. MS.
And so, how often do you see Aaron at the MAT program?
I'm in contact with them every day of the week.
But how often do you see him for therapy? Or do you not? Is he just somebody that you contact like a case manager?
He is a case manager, but he's also a therapist. And so I've seen him kind of twice. They haven't gotten me on a regular schedule.
Okay, you've seen him twice in how long?
4 months.
And then are you in restoration?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is that with?
Charlene.
And how often do you see her?
Twice a week.
And the charges in this case are, do you know?
Theft. In this case, okay, there was, or is it both of them together is what I'm asking.
There's just one case from earlier this year.
Is it the March 15th one?
It's from February.
Uh-huh. Okay, so it's the 7?
It's February 13th.
Okay. Theft, identity stuff, it all went together. There was 5. I'm sorry, I know these.
That's
To
okay.
me, it's identity theft, theft of an at-risk person, instruments, something like that. But there was 7 of them, a bank thing. I know what they are. I just don't know the terminology.
Tell me what they're saying you did to get those charges.
That I had somebody's information, their identity, and so it went down from there. So, and I had,
But what are they saying you did? So you had someone's identity and?
I used a tool to take money out of a bank.
What, a crowbar?
No, their ID, their identification.
Okay. Once or more than once?
Just once.
Did you attempt it more than once or just only successful once?
It happened once.
Okay, well, from the information I have, it says that you attempted it twice and were only successful once. You obtained $700 and then you tried to get $936 and you weren't able to get that.
Okay. Well, that's when I said no. I was in the car twice, yes. I haven't gone over this with my attorneys. They haven't talked to me about it. So it's kind of like, Well,
But haven't you gone over this in restoration?
yes, but it's all the charges that I haven't gone over the case itself in restoration.
Okay. You haven't gone over what they're accusing you of doing? Why the charges are associated with that?
No, I'm supposed to be doing that with my attorney. And
No,
I
they're
know the
supposed to go
charges.
over what you're actually charged with, like what they're accusing you of doing to get the charges.
Right, and we just got into that.
Okay.
And there's been a whole lot, but we haven't even gotten into that.
Okay.
As far as the twice or anything, it was just the charges, and yeah,
Okay.
I missed a couple of times, and so we're trying to catch up.
Okay.
We've been going over the rights.
Okay.
That's why I was trying not to get into what we actually talked about, because that's supposed to be with my attorney.
Well, but you need to know what you're being accused of doing.
I do. I do. I know exactly what they are, but I'm not. I know I didn't do it, and so I try and put it with the information. So the actual charges isn't what we talked about.
Yeah, the allegations underlying the charges are something that is talked about, because you have to know, for instance, if I'm charged.
What I meant by that is I hadn't gotten into it with, like, in depth, like where I was, what I was doing, or anything like that with the restoration.
I'm not talking about that. I mean, general stuff, like you had somebody else's wallet, you had all their information, you're accused of taking money out of.
It was in her car. I wasn't in possession of it. That's why I'm stuttering here, because I wasn't in possession of it. It's in the discovery in her car.
Okay, well, they're saying that you acknowledge that you had been doing it for someone else.
And that's why I said that it's something I haven't gotten into with my attorneys yet, and that's why I haven't gotten the exact charges or anything like that lined up with my testimony of what actually happened. I'm
not asking for your testimony. I'm trying to explain to you that as part of knowing your charges, you have to know what you're accused of doing. So I'm not asking you.
Okay, I need
to finish, okay? So if I'm charged with shoplifting, I need to know that I'm charged with shoplifting makeup from Walgreens, not charged with stealing meat from King Soopers. That's different than what my side of things might be.
Okay. They said I was in possession of this stuff. They said that I had stole all this stuff, that her wallet was stolen. I didn't steal any of that, but that's what they said. And the reason I'm getting mixed up here is because I have yet to speak to my attorneys about this on my side of the story, but that's what they said they did. I have the discoveries, but it was in the car where I was supposed to be sitting. They don't know where I was sitting, but it was in somebody else's car, and identities had been taken. I wasn't in possession.
It did say, the police report says that you acknowledged that you had been in possession of her information.
Of a withdrawal slip. I handed it to the bank. But I wasn't in possession of any of that. The rest of it. It was in somebody else's car. It was in the person's car that they have a picture of actually doing it.
Okay, so you are aware that they're accusing you with having someone's information and with trying to withdraw money on more than one occasion.
Yeah, they took me to the bank twice. And I said no the second time. And it had nothing to do with it. And that's when they took me to the courthouse. And that's when that's when they arrested me. They started talking, and I wouldn't give up anybody else's name.
Well, you said that you were doing it at Dwayne's request because he was paying you for physical labor that you had been doing.
That's not what I said.
That's what's in the report. You know that if you read the discovery, right?
But that's not what happened. I was having a yard sale, and I was helping another lady who was under psychiatry that actually took my identity. I was trying to help her. We were having a yard sale, and this guy was going to buy something from the yard sale. We were trying to get Naomi's rent up because she was going to be evicted, and Amanda and all them and the Mexican guy, I didn't know any of these people, and he said that his grandma, and I was doing the same thing I would for a client if I went to the bank or ran a different errand. That's where I was on it. And I thought it was his grandma, and DJ had, he was going somewhere. I was sitting in the back of the car, and I had never gone anywhere with them. I had never been in this car, and you couldn't get into the front seat, so I was sitting in the back seat. Yeah, and he just asked that I go to the bank and do this because he was going to buy something, and the money wasn't even going to mine. I was just running an errand.
I'm not saying you did anything.
No, I didn't.
Making sure you understand what they're accusing you of doing.
I do, but this is what exactly I went through, and in order for me to tell you, I have to go through the whole thing of what I did, because just because somebody said I did it, I'm going to tell you the truth. If I did it, I'm going to tell you, because the truth doesn't change. But that's what happened.
And that's fine. It's fine either way. Whatever happened, happened. But you need to be able to explain that to your attorney, and you need to be able to understand what they're accusing you of doing to give you the charges that they gave you.
I understand what they said, what I did, but I'm trying to keep it right, because the truth isn't going to change. So I'm sitting there trying to explain exactly what I did minute by minute. I don't have control over what everybody else said they did or anybody else's stuff. I know exactly what I did. The charges, they're charges, and I have to get this to my attorney, and I haven't been able to. I can only explain exactly what I did. I know what they said, charges or whatever. But all this has to come into play, because I'm going to keep right what I said, what I did.
Right, but you also have to understand what other people are going to say and be able to decide what you want to do with your case based on that, right?
I haven't, exactly, but I haven't, my attorneys have not talked to me.
I understand. It's okay. I'm just trying to go over the information with you about how the charges are being charged because of what they're saying that you supposedly did.
And that's exactly it. But to keep it right with me, because there's so much, I have to go through exactly what I did. I understand they said that I did all this, but I didn't. And I'm a witness against them as well. Because my testimony counteracts theirs. What they said I did and what I did is two different things, and I have yet to speak to my attorneys about it because they're too big.
The other thing is you have to be able to recognize what you have already said to the police at the time.
And
right?
that's why I'm keeping it straight.
Okay, Ms. Murray, we're on the same page. Are your charges misdemeanors or felonies?
There's 5 felonies, 2 misdemeanors. To me, all those charges, it's the same thing, but just different wording on each of them. And so...
Well, it's not, because if it's 2 transactions, then there's 2 instances of theft. There's attempting to use an identification to obtain the money. There's having financial transactions that's unauthorized. There's having possession of the documents, and then there's the person being an at-risk person that the theft is from. So yes, it's all pertaining to the same thing, although the charges are for different aspects.
Right. And that's, when they run together like that, it's like, and it's frustrating because I know what the truth is, because they wanted the other girl because they have pictures of her, and they were sitting there and they said, "Did you steal the wallet?"
Miss Murray, you have to be able to assess your own evidence, okay, and the own evidence against you.
That's
okay. So regardless of what the other
thing
is that they want,
me and my attorneys have not sat down and discussed it yet.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to go over what they're accusing you of doing, right?
Right.
Which is different than you and your attorney discussing it. Which is more serious, a misdemeanor or a felony?
Felony.
Okay. What could happen to you if you're found guilty of your charge?
Prison time,
How
jail
much?
time on each charge. I think it's like 6 years on the major one. On the at-risk adult.
Okay. Who's your lawyer?
Clinton Norp, Jennifer Gregory.
And what are they supposed to do for you?
They're supposed to stand up for my rights and make sure that defend me. Make sure that there is a defense. They're supposed to do everything they can.
What kinds of things do they need to know from you so they can help you with your case?
What happened? What exactly happened? And get the best possible defense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Is what you and your lawyer talk about between the two of you, or can I tell others?
It's supposed to be between the two of us.
And if you and your lawyer disagree about something with your case, which one of you gets to say what happens?
Me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll do a good job for you?
I need attorneys that will stand up for me. Because this is why I'm so frustrated.
Okay, so do you think they'll do a good job for you?
No.
Why?
Because they won't stand up for me. I am showing them. I don't know.
Well, how are they not standing up for you?
Well, It broke my rights, the confidentiality. I wasn't even there. And I was explaining to them, I was handing them all the evidence of me being innocent, and they didn't want to hear it. And, yeah, I'm upset now.
How did they break confidentiality?
Even Clinton North admitted it the other day, because everybody else has been talking about me, but nobody has talked to me.
Okay, that still doesn't tell me.
Rachel Anderson, there's no confidentiality there. I don't know.
How so?
She told me that it was between her and my attorneys and the DA. And where was I in all this? I don't know.
I don't understand. I'm coming in at the last minute. So what do you mean? She told you that it was between you, your attorneys, and the DA.
No,
what
her.
Was between you?
I had no right, and it was between the judge, her, and the attorneys. And they're talking to people, and I'm begging them.
About what?
Like, I'm trying to figure out why the judge was recused. The first 90 days, nobody contacted me, and the restoration of rights, they had to do it again because they dropped the ball. My attorneys didn't show up in court for me twice, where the judge had to go back, and still, the only time I've seen Norm is right before a court case. He thought what I said was delusional, and so they decided I needed an eval because he didn't think that I could help with my case, and that's what I was doing. I was handing them the evidence of, and they just thought it sounded crazy. And to me, why were my rights? I missed this has been excessive punishment. I haven't gotten a trial yet.
What has been excessive punishment?
What I've been going through.
Which is what?
I've been being gang stalked. I have I have 4 people, 3, in a courtroom. I've been attacked.
And there's 3 people in a courtroom that have attacked you?
Yes, there's Rico Rodriguez. I was attacked in July, and he's in a courtroom, and so I'm supposed to have a victim's advocate there. Then I was threatened to be killed with Nicholas Clennon. He's a stalker. And then I have, these are people trying to stop me. And my attorneys aren't listening. And so I have 3 assault. These people, I was robbed and assaulted by these people. Just last week, I was seeking a safe house. And
what does this have to do with your case?
Because they're trying to shut me up.
About what?
About what happened with these charges. I took these charges of what they were doing to me because I won't roll on any of these people. I wouldn't give a name. And so they're trying to
Dwayne as a name.
Huh?
You gave Dwayne as a name.
No, I did not. Amanda did. I didn't give anybody but my attorney DJ's name. She did. Amanda did. And it's on that officer's body cam. I never gave up a name. They didn't arrest her. They wanted to, and I just said I wouldn't roll on anybody, so I took the charges. I'm the one that got arrested and not her. And it was her car. I wouldn't roll on these people. This is organized crime, and this happened in July with my wrist, and I haven't, the DA can't talk to me because I have attorneys. My attorneys weren't talking to me. They don't see how it goes with the case, but they're not listening.
Okay, and I'm not sure I see that either, because it doesn't sound like these people were involved in the case, at least based on the police reports.
Okay. And that's
I'm
why.
just asking.
And that's why, sitting here, it's been hell since February. But they're all connected. It's Nicholas Clinton, when he threatened to kill me, I have a restraining order against him. And
how is he involved in this case?
They've been stalking me and
but how is he involved in this case?
Because they are all friends. They are.
Who is all friends?
Okay. Rico is Crips. Nicholas Clinton is 211. This is what I mean. When somebody
but how are they involved in this case? Where is their involvement in this case?
Amanda Eisenhower. They sit there and I don't even know. I'm not. This is why I want to talk to attorneys who will actually go over this stuff with me. But
how, you're saying that it's all connected, but how are they involved in this case?
Because I'm a witness. I'm also the person that they said that did it, and they're trying to keep me out of a courtroom because I have witness testimony against them. I know who.
Okay, but how is this regarding these charges of being in possession of other information and attempting to make withdrawals? How are they involved?
This has to do with my defense. This is the defense I'm trying to get the attorneys to listen to. They're supposed to find the best defense for me. And this is all evidence that I'm trying to get to my attorneys to help me with this case.
Okay, but you're still not answering my question, how they're involved in trying to get money and being in possession of identification.
Because Naomi Kepler sent these people in. She had sold me everything. These are the people that were at the yard sale. Amanda Eisenhower robbed me blind. These people were involved with robbing me after they said I had done it. Everything was taken out of that house. Everything that showed that I was innocent and who the actual people were, they robbed me as I was trying to clean all this stuff out. These are the people who did it, and now they're trying to cover it up. And I need my attorneys. This is why. Because if I can sit down with one of them and not just have an hour, it would make sense. But I'm trying to get
your attorneys are concerned with this particular incident and these particular charges.
And I'm telling you, because everybody's drawn it out. I didn't give the name of this person. They said I was a rat and rolled on these people. So they sent people after me. And I'm trying to explain to my attorneys where my defense is, and this stuff just keeps happening.
Okay, but your attorneys are concerned with just these events and what the evidence is regarding these events instead of...
This is what's happened since these events to keep me out of a courtroom. I need some help there.
Why did they want to keep you out of a courtroom for these charges?
They want me to be crazy, so I can't tell them what they had done. This has been constant since I took these charges. This has all happened since I took the charges. It's not that I'm putting it in there. This is what's been happening to me since I took the charges. It shows evidence of what they've been doing to me and why I had to take the charges. That's what I'm trying to explain.
And you had to take the charges, why?
Because they were torturing me. And
how were they torturing you with having identification
I want
of
an
somebody
attorney.
else?
I wanted my attorney in here because I haven't been able to sit down and talk to him about this, because they just say, I don't think that's because you're not the one being chased through this. You know, if I pled guilty, none of this would have happened. But I know I could fight this, but I need an attorney who will sit there and look at all the evidence of what they've been doing to me since I took the charges.
Okay, but that's not relevant.
It is.
It isn't. How is it relevant, something that's happened since the charges?
I was attacked 3 times. I have three people.
But that's not relevant to these charges if it happened after.
It is. When they took all the stuff, they're the ones that robbed me blind after I took the charges. But
that's happened after. Again, it's after. What evidence did they take that shows you didn't do this?
Everything in the house. It was Naomi
But how
Kepler.
does everything in the house show that you didn't do this?
Why did they break my rights by taking me out as I was seeking asylum the next time?
But wait.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Murray, what evidence did they take that shows that you weren't in possession of, hold on, of documents and attempting to withdraw money?
Because these same people, it was her car. She took everything out of that house. And Naomi Kepler's house, when we were having the yard sale, there was IDs of people and everything else. I didn't know these people. I didn't know which name went to what. They had IDs. They had full stuff. This was a scheme. They have a picture of the Mexican guy who said the ones who actually stole the wallet and everything else. They have pictures of him. He hasn't been brought up yet. And I was explaining, okay, they showed up. This is what happened. All I did was get in the car and I was running an errand with DJ. That was it. That's what I knew about it. But they had stole the wallet. He went to the liquor store. They got pictures of him then because he used that stuff then. And they have pictures of Amanda driving the car. It wasn't me. They had this stuff. And I'm trying to explain how it all came together. Nobody knew about the Mexican guy who brought the wallet in and said it was his grandma. And they have pictures of him in a thing. And they have video of the person who stole the wallet.
So why did you tell them that you were getting money for helping him with, that he owed you for physical labor?
I don't know. That's not what I said.
Okay.
I was having a yard sale. This guy told me his grandma was going to buy him something out of this yard sale. They all knew each other. I didn't know any of them. So I had to go on what I knew, which was this guy comes in and says, my grandma wants to buy me this. And it was Naomi's yard sale. And we were going to get money. And it was going to go towards the rent. But this was all brought in. And these are the people who did it. And I never said that. I never said that to anybody. But that's how it all goes together. It wasn't just me in it, but this is my
What's the district attorney do?
files charges, and it's their burden of proof that I did this. The state has burden of proof, not me.
What does the judge do?
He makes sure that all the evidence, he gives the orders on what goes on. He makes sure the law is kept and decides what can come in, what can't.
What if someone's found guilty?
He gives
What does the
sentencing.
judge do? Huh?
He gives sentencing, and he goes by the law.
What do witnesses do?
They give testimony of what happened at the crime. If they have knowledge, there's alibi witnesses that can give, or character witnesses, expert witnesses, direct witnesses, eyewitnesses.
What does the jury do?
They weigh the evidence and testimonies, and they're supposed to either beyond a reasonable doubt, guilty, or if there's doubt, innocent. And they give the recommendation to the judge.
About?
The guilt or innocence of the defendant.
How many people are on a jury?
6 and then or 12.
How many have to just say you're guilty before you're found guilty?
12 or 6. The whole thing.
And what about for not guilty?
Not guilty? Only, it could be a hung jury.
Okay, how many for not guilty?
How many for not
jury
guilty?
is not guilty.
Well, if 2 says that they're guilty, they have to go back and it has to be without a reasonable doubt.
But how many of the jurors have to say you're not guilty for you to be not guilty?
All 12 of them.
Yes.
Or 6.
Yes. If there's no jury, who decides if you're guilty or not guilty?
Judge.
Who's the defendant in your case?
Me.
And what's your job in court?
To make sure that I can help my attorneys with my defense. And to sit there and because it's not my burden.
You have questions about court, who should you ask?
My attorneys.
And if somebody lies about you in court, who would you tell that to?
My attorneys.
How should somebody act when they're in court?
Not like this.
Okay.
You're supposed to, you don't burst out and,
And if you do, what happens?
The judge can find you in contempt.
Did you tell your side of the story in court if you and your attorney thought it was a good idea?
Yes.
Why would somebody choose to tell their side of the story in court?
Because they're not guilty. Yeah, because it's the truth.
Okay, but why would they choose to tell their side of the story in court?
So everything is out there in the open. The jury needs, or the judge, needs to have all of it.
Why would somebody choose not to tell their side of the story in court?
The Fifth Amendment. So they don't incriminate themselves.
What does it mean when somebody says they're not guilty?
They're guilty and they're innocent until proven guilty.
And if you go to court and say you're not guilty, what happens next?
The pre-trial, you start trial. Start preparing for trial, I should say.
True. Guilty, what does that mean?
It means, you did it and you have to face the consequences of it.
And so if you go to court and say you're guilty, what happens next?
The judge weighs the law and he gives you the sentence.
What's a no contest plea?
It means you're not saying you're guilty or innocent, but you still accept the charge.
You accept the consequences.
Yes, you accept the consequences, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. What's not guilty by reason of insanity?
By reason of, they had a moment, they weren't clear in their own head of what happened. And insanity.
And where do those people go?
To the psychiatrist until they can...
No, they actually are committed to the state hospital for an indeterminate period.
It depends, really. Indeterminate. I said a psychiatrist, that happens in a hospital.
Yes, but they're committed to the state hospital.
Well, okay, let's go. I need a vacation. I'm just kidding.
I hope so, because then I'm going to have to worry. All right, what's the plea bargain?
Plea bargain is you will take a lesser charge for, saying you'll... It's a agreement between...
For saying what? For saying what? What do you have to plead as part of a plea bargain?
Okay, you have to admit guilt.
Mm-hmm. And who offers you a plea bargain?
DA.
Correct. And why would somebody take a plea bargain?
For lesser time or...
Because they think they're going to be found what?
Guilty.
At trial. And why would somebody not take a plea bargain?
To put their...
What? Why would somebody not take a plea bargain?
To put their testimony out there, to let them know, all the evidence and everything.
How are you planning to plead in your case?
How am I planning to?
Oh yeah, what
I'm not guilty.
Your charges?
I'm not guilty.
What is the likelihood that you'll be found not guilty?
100%.
Based on what?
I have a right to face my accusers in this.
That's not what I asked you.
I know, but still.
Based on what?
See, and that's where everybody's getting me right now, because I haven't spoken to my attorneys about this. Mm-hmm. And I have, and you said this isn't this goes to, that's what's getting me right now, is because I keep asking for my attorneys to be present, and my whole thing is out there, and I'm the only one who hasn't sat down with my attorneys and talked about this.
Okay, so you need to talk with your attorneys so that you can make a decision.
Yeah. And, I haven't had that opportunity, but everybody has decided.
And if they tell you that the court is only addressing these charges and what happened that day, then what?
Let's go to trial, because ever since that day, this is what these people have done to me till now. Because
okay, but that's not going to be admissible in court, regardless of whether you go to trial or not. The issue before the court, whether there's a jury, a judge, whatever, is going to be what happened that day.
Cool.
Okay?
Okay.
So you have to do it based on the evidence of that day
Cool.
and what happened. Okay?
Okay, I get that. But there is a defense, and they want to know what kind of defense it is. Well, here we go. So if I give this to my attorneys and everybody looks at it, and we can find the best possible defense to get it into that courtroom for that day, right?
Okay, but they're not going to deal with things that have happened since. They're not going to deal with things that have happened before. They're going to deal with what happened that day. That's what the court is dealing with.
I understand that, but this is supposed to be between my attorneys and I, and then they're supposed to tell me, okay, so how does all this fit with these people on that day, right?
And what if they say it doesn't?
You know, I guess we let the jury decide.
And if they
And the
say
judge?
that's not going to be helpful and you're going to get 6 years, then what?
Okay. You know, they're supposed to be working with me on a defense, and they're supposed to give me ways to go about this, and they're supposed to be talking to me through this and not...
What I'm saying is they may not have a solution for you. They may not have a way for you other than what happened that day. And you wanting them to bring other stuff in may not be legally permissible, is what I'm trying to get at.
I have it on video, what I was doing.
Okay, great. If it's relevant to that day, perfect.
Absolutely. And that's the stuff I have that I need to get to my attorneys, and they need to see it's all right there. And then we can decide the best way to proceed. But I haven't even gotten that far.
Okay, that's fine. If you have video of what you were doing that day, perfect. How tall are you?
5'9".
Any thoughts of hurting yourself today?
No.
Any thoughts of hurting anybody else today?
No.
Any times you've tried to harm yourself in the last 6 months?
No. See, it would have been nice to be able to sit down and talk to my attorneys about this. I've talked to you more about my case than I have anybody else. So how do I proceed? They're supposed to be helping me with the best defense possible, you know.
Right, but they need you to be able to focus on that day instead of all of the other things.
Okay. But they need to help me and understand. Then let me talk to the DA, because I am a victim in 3 other cases.
That's not relevant to these charges.
But because of these charges, and I have these attorneys, when I need to talk to the DA about these other cases, I'm not allowed to talk to the DA because I have these attorneys.
You can always file charges against someone else. You cannot talk to the DA about these charges.
I get that, but they will not, the DA won't talk to me about what's going on in that case because I have attorneys. And that's what I've been dealing with.
But you can always call the police and tell them I was attacked on such and such.
And I have 3 people in a courtroom, and the DA can't talk to me because I have attorneys on these cases. And so what do I do? Because the DA can't talk to me about these other cases because I have attorneys on this.
You don't need to talk to the DA. If there's something that happens to you, you can call the police and make a report.
I did. But the thing is they ask what I think about what needs to happen to these people, and I need to get somebody to tell them my side of the story on this, or
The police
victims.
have your side of the story.
I understand they have my side of the story. But when the DA says that they can't talk to you because you have attorneys on the other side, or the fact that I couldn't get a victim's advocate because I had these charges, and then...
But again, you're meshing everything together.
That's
okay?
because they did. I want to go to court. I want to talk to the DA about RICO. But
you don't need to talk to the DA about RICO. You can deal with it through the police or through the court system, correct?
The court system. I'm trying, and my attorneys won't talk to them. They won't talk to me because I have attorneys. Fine. But this is what's going on over here. I need my attorneys to pay attention because I'm a victim in these cases. So what do I do?
But your attorney are dealing with these charges.
Then why can't the victim's advocate, they said, we can't talk to you because you have attorneys.
Okay, you don't need the victim's advocate. You need to report it to the police if something is happening to you. If you've done that, that's where that is.
I know.
Okay, so
and
what am I missing?
Nobody can talk to me because I have attorneys. I asked for an attorney, and they say they can't because they're on this case, but nobody's talking to me.
What is it you want them to talk to you about?
I was a victim in 3 cases over here, and...
But those cases are pending? They're charged? What?
Yes.
So there are charges where you're a victim and those cases are pending. Okay, then let them work through the court system.
Right, but who's working with me? They want a victim's impact statement.
You can always submit that.
Okay, but where's my attorney to help me with this stuff?
Okay, are the charges going forward immediately?
Yeah, they were. They are. They're trying to plead out, and I need... nobody is standing up for me. They're trying to plead out. And I'm a witness and a victim in these cases, and nobody is talking to me because I have these charges, and I have attorneys, but everybody's talking.
So what is it that you're upset about? That they're trying to plead out? But you don't know what's going on there.
Why?
Correct? Why do you think you know what's going on there? Has anybody told you this is what we're doing?
No, and that's my bitch.
Okay, but maybe nothing's happening with them.
Why?
Maybe because they're waiting till this is resolved.
I know. So why isn't anybody talking to me?
Because you have one thing to discuss at a time.
That would be great if they would talk to me at the time that I asked them to, and then all of it comes together, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I have 3 in court. I have these 2 cases. I have to go through restoration of rights, and absolutely nobody's talking to me.
What do you mean nobody's talking to you?
I ask questions just like this.
It seems to me that you're more focused on making sure that those cases are taken care of versus this case.
No, it's all, to me, this is what I've been put through since I got these charges.
I understand that. And again, I understand that that's what you're dealing with. In regard to this case, you having those experiences are not related to this case.
how did you know? And why isn't my attorneys helping me bring my, even sit there on these
Because
charges?
if it's events that happen afterwards, it's not related to this case. It's not like I can say, oh.
So it doesn't matter what happens to me?
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. And I think you know that's not what I said.
But because this stuff is happening to me, and I'm trying to get through these charges. Hold on.
Ms. Murray?
Ma'am, I'm trying to get to court in these charges, and this stuff is happening to me, and it stops me from getting to this case, although I want this case to go forward. And every time this stuff is happening, because, and I'm explaining to them, this is why I'm upset, and I can't get them to talk to me to get this case into a courtroom. I'm going through the restoration of rights. It's been 180 days, not just 90, and because they dropped the ball on me, and as everybody drops the ball on me, and nobody had talked to me about getting my defense together for this case, all this other stuff is piling on. And yeah, all this other stuff is piling on. And
so can I encourage you to focus on this case, and that might.
And I'm trying to.
Okay. I'm encouraging you to focus on this case and discussing with your attorney just the events related to this case so that you can get this case moved into court so then you can address the other things. Okay?
I need somebody to work with me on this case. If I could get it into court.
But you're going to need to be able to focus just on this case.
And that's fine. But I wouldn't be this upset if they had started. And let's focus on this case, because every time I leave the courtroom or anything and I get attacked, it's one more thing added on. And they're still not talking to me about my case. Let me get in there, get a meeting, and we'll put the stuff in there. But as we're going through court and this stuff is happening to me on the outside, still nobody's talking to me about this case. So I'm still going through it, and I'm still trying to get a defense together and an attorney who can focus on that case while I deal with the rest of my life that's happening, but it's all piling together.
I understand, and you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed, and I understand that, okay? You asked me, how do you get this case into court? I'm trying to give you feedback on that, and that's focusing on what happened that day and getting that information and weighing that information and deciding how you want to move forward with your case, okay?
Okay, and if they would sit down with me and say, let's go over the evidence, and let's do this, and let's find the best thing forward. Okay, perfect. But I have to get through.
It may not be what you think is the best course. They may not see it the same way given their legal.
But I need to get the legal advice from them, right?
I agree, but you have to be able to listen to them too.
Okay.
Right?
And they have to be able to listen to me. They're supposed to stand up for me and my rights.
I understand that, but if they say that you need to focus on that day.
Okay. And I was attacked, and I have my wrist thing, and I'm trying to focus on that. But this was stuff that's supposed to be happening, and they're supposed to say, okay, Lori, let's sit down and talk about it. I understand you're going through this, but if I'm I have a broken wrist and I'm in a hospital. Okay, let's focus on this. But me emotionally and physically, I'm going through that.
This is what I'm talking about. We get spun out on other stuff.
No, we're not. This is what I'm going through physically and emotionally.
I understand that, but here's what I'm saying. When I tell you this is what needs to be,
you're right.
Then we start going through all this other stuff, okay? And that's what I'm talking about.
You're right. Okay? I never said you were wrong. I'm saying when I'm in a panic attack and I have so much trauma and everything, and getting there, nobody has sat me down and said, okay, let's go over this. I was put into restoration of rights, and it's just me, and I'm going through all that, and all this is going through it, but it's still, I'm trying to get an attorney to talk to me about this
I understand that, but you
No.
that. You keep saying that. And
the original charges, nobody has sat down and talked to me about that. It's, how are you doing and what's going on? And I start telling them, and they say, these charges, okay.
So then let's focus on that. The next time you get the chance to talk to them, focus on those charges, the information from that day, and discussing that with them and how to move forward. You asked me how to get this case in court, correct?
Right. And I was supposed to have confidentiality between me and my attorneys.
Oh, but see, here we go. We're talking about other stuff now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I am not.
But I was supposed to have confidentiality, but you asked me a question. We discussed it, right?
Yes.
But then you bring up all these other things.
No, I didn't. I said we're supposed to have confidentiality, and that would take place in that room. And it doesn't matter what I was going through. I was upset, and I was confiding in my attorneys. It wasn't that I was trying to get them to do anything else.
Okay, then I understand. Ms. Murray, I hear you. The next time you get to talk to them, I think making sure that you are focused on the case at hand will be helpful.
And I have no issue with that. If they would focus on it too and talk to me. I
understand that. I hear you. I understand what you're saying.
When nobody talks to me, I have to talk myself through it.
I understand. Tell me what's your mood like today.
My mood?
Can I take a guess?
Tired. Yeah, go ahead.
Tired? Okay, I was going to say frustrated, but tired?
I am frustrated. I'm very frustrated.
What's it like most days?
I want to get this over with. I want somebody to talk to me. I want to get these charges, whatever the best defense is, forward. Because I just want it over with.
Okay.
And
how's your sleep?
I slept like the dead last night.
Okay, generally.
Not good.
How's your appetite?
It's decreased.
For how long now?
About a year. See, that's the frustrating part, and I think that's what both you and I were just missing, is because I can't deal with any of this stuff until I deal with this. And this case isn't moving anywhere, so I can't deal with any of the rest of this until... That's the frustrating part.
I know, and that's, you asked me how to?
I know.
Okay. All right.
But, see my frustration?
Yes, and you can say it to me 10 more times and I'll still see it. Okay? I saw it the first time.
But, see, I don't, and this
I know,
helps
but
back and forth.
I think the thing is, if you think you say it enough to me, then I'll actually understand it, but I already understood it, right?
And maybe you did, but I'm trying to understand why all the time, because
Okay.
it's just me.
And that's the input I was trying to give you.
Yeah. But until
All right.
I deal with these charges.
Yes, that's what we said.
Right.
Okay, we can say it
But
again.
me, I am traumatized. I have PTSD, and I'm used to talking myself through this stuff. It's not just that I'm repeating it for you. I'm trying to understand it myself of why I feel this way.
Okay. The thing is, though, you also need to recognize that your defense attorneys are not therapists, right?
I get that. I get that.
I'm just cautioning you that they're probably not going to want to say the same thing over and over and over again, too, right?
Oh, yeah, I get that. I completely get that.
Okay.
But until,
All right.
somebody's got to deal with me.
thoughts?
I have to deal with me.
Exactly. And if you want to get your case put to court, you know what you have to do.
Yeah, help them get my defense. But, anyways,
And focus on this case.
Yes.
All right. Any difficulty with your thoughts? Going too fast for you to keep up with them? Do I even need to ask this question?
I'm 6 steps ahead of my thought, Yeah.
All right. Any problems with hearing or seeing things other people don't hear or see? Hearing voices or seeing visions?
I see visions.
Okay. Like what?
I have that. That's my life's work. That's on video. That has nothing to do with this case.
Okay. So like paranormal stuff?
That is stuff that I have to deal with after and before. It has nothing to do with these charges.
Okay.
How's that?
That was really good. Good for you.
It has nothing to do with these charges, and it has nothing to do with this case, so we're not talking about it.
All right. Any other things that I need to ask you or you need to tell me?
Nope.
Anything that has to do with this case?
You know what? You and I are going to have to sit down and have a cup of coffee and just laugh about this when this is over. God.
All right. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I appreciate you meeting with me.
Thank you. I'm sorry I frustrated you too.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
I'll see you next time.
Have a good rest of the day. All right.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.